For the last 5 years, people have been begging you and I to write an official prediction about how NFC payments with smartphones was going to take off in the next year. And for 4 years, we have steadfastly refused, saying the time was not yet ripe. And I think that up until 2014, we were doing pretty well.
Yes, I think we're right. So if I look at 2014, we estimate that about 2 million people worldwide out of the billions of people with a smartphone use their device to make contactless payments on a monthly basis or more regularly. But for 2015, we think that number goes up to at least 30, but possibly 60 million people per month.
Thousands of percent growth. That feels like a tipping point to me. What's changed?
There's probably three main factors. So one of them is just that we've got trained to use contactless because of contactless credit cards and debit cards. And they've been around, let's remember, for a while. But once you get a surge of usage amongst the community, then you reach a tipping point from which you never go back. And that's what we expect to happen with phones too. Another thing is that the number of point of sale systems with NFC readiness has just been going up steadily, and we also expect a big boost in the US because of the move to chip and pin in that market. So all those terminals will be made ready with NFC. And a third thing, which is around security, is that for some people, they've been trained to use their fingerprint readers, not because they're in trouble or because they're entering a country, but to do simple, useful things like not have to use a password to open their phone or to make payments. So we've been gradually, over the years, been prepared to use contactless payments via smartphones.
So I understand how these three factors all arrive at the same time, and that's great, but I got to stop you on security because it's the one I always hear about. Will these be as secure? Will they be secure enough? Can people steal my information?
That's a very good question, and that's one of the things which has been addressed in these devices. So when it comes to making the payment, your financial data is not being transmitted. What's being transmitted is a one-time use token. So if you take that token, all you're capturing is information for that transaction. So the actual credit card data is stored on the phone, or it may be in the cloud, or it may be in another system. So it's kept very, very private. So for a merchant, one of the benefits of this is they don't have to worry so much about protecting customer data in that instance. And some people regard this as potentially more secure than certainly sign and swipe or even chip and pin.
All right. Now, one of the things is that I actually have NFC on my phone. I have not used it for payments, but when I first got my phone, I played with the NFC functionality, I don't know, 3-4 times. I downloaded books, and I haven't used it again in a couple of years. When we look at the early days of contactless payment via phone, how loyal are the users? Because one of our stats isn't that they do it once in the year, it's that they do it monthly or more.
Well, I think the important thing to realize with contactless payments is you can deploy it well or you can deploy it with a bit more friction points. So the key thing is to make it as simple to use as possible, as easy to use as a contactless card plus a fingerprint reader. And when it is as easy as that, then people, once they've tried it out, won't go back, even if it's a half a second more to use a contactless credit card. And also you've got the fact that people like showing off. So if they've got their smartphone and they can look a little bit cool in front of their friends, people are trying to impress, then they will do it. It's just human nature.
So I think we need to put it, though, into context that obviously a couple million last year was really small. 30 to 60, enormous year-over-year growth, but given that there's 7 billion people on the planet, it's still relatively small. But how would you characterize this? Is this the first step?
It's the first step. So we're going from near to nothing to niche. It's probably about 10% of a base of perhaps 600 million NFC-ready phones by the end of next year. So it is a significant step, but there are many, many steps more to go. So we're not ready to throw away our wallets. We won't be for a long time. This will coexist with our current ways of making payments.